Suddenly, a sharp cry pierced through the silence. Ngozi! Adaeze's voice thundered from the top of the staircase. Where is my evening tea? Do you want to sleep outside tonight? Ngozi hurried to the kitchen, her hands trembling as she prepared the tea. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The tray slipped from my grasp, shattering on the floor, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Adaeze descended upon her like a storm. Clumsy girl, you pay for this, she spat, her hands raised in a threat. But before the blow could land, a firm hand caught Adaeze's wrist. It was the mysterious guest from the ball, his eyes now unmasked and filled with a quiet fury. Enough, Adaeze, he said, his voice calm but commanding. This ends now. The night air was thick with anticipation as the city's elite gathered at Adaeze's mansion, a beacon of wealth amidst the sprawling urban landscape. The Grand Masquerade Ball, an annual spectacle, was the event of the season, where masks hid more than just faces. They concealed whispers, secrets, and the silent cries of the oppressed. Ngozi, adorned in a simple yet elegant servant attire, navigated through the sea of ornate costumes, her eyes a silent witness to the extravagance. The guests, oblivious to the toil that sustained their luxury, revealed in the night's festivities. Madame, the guests are praising the decorations, Ngozi said, approaching Adaeze with a tray of champagne. Adaeze, a mask and intricate weave of gold and jewels, barely glanced at her. Ensure everything is perfect, Ngozi. A single mistake and you find yourself out on the street, she hissed, her voice a velvet threat. As the night wore on, the music swelled and the dancers spun. A figure watched from the shadows, a guest unlike any other, his musk plain, his presence unassuming, yet his gaze lingered on Ngozi with an intensity that spoke of a deeper intentions. Why does that man stare so much? Ngozi whispered to a fellow servant, unease treading her voice. He's no regular guest. They say he's a man of great power, one who can change fortunes with a word. Her companion murmured back, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. The mysterious guest moved through the crowd, a spectre of intrigue, his path inevitably leading to Adaeze. Their exchange was brief, the tension was palpable, and though the words were lost in the music, the message was clear. This ball was but a prelude to a tale of revelation and reckoning. As the evening drew to a close, the guests departed, their laughter echoing into the night, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and the promise of a story yet to unfold. Ngozi, her curiosity piqued and her resolve steeled, knew that the masquerade was more than just a dance of disguises. It was the beginning of a journey that would unravel the fabric of their lives. As dawn broke over the city, the aftermath of the ball was still evident in the mansion. Ngozi moved quietly, her hands stealthily clearing the remnants of the night excess. The other servants whispered among themselves, their eyes following her with a mix of pity and respect. Ngozi, did you see this? One of the younger maids asked, handing her a crumpled envelope found under a cushion. Ngozi turned the envelope over in her hands, her name written in a bold, unfamiliar script. No, I didn't, thank you, Choma, she replied, her heart quickening with curiosity. Retreating to the privacy of the laundry room, Ngozi carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a letter, the words dancing before her eyes. Ngozi, the truth about you is not what it seems. Seek the elder at the marketplace at noon. He holds the key to your past. The letter offered no name, no further instructions, just a riddle wrapped in mystery. Ngozi's mind raced with questions. Who was the elder? What truth did he hold? Girl! The dreaming won't get the work done. Adaeze's sharp voice cut through the silence, jolting Ngozi's back to reality. Sorry, madam, Ngozi stammered, hiding the letter in her apron. It won't happen again. As the hours ticked by, the letter's message burned in Ngozi's thought. She knew she had to meet this elder, to uncover the secret that seemed to hover just out of reach. The marketplace was a scene of night and sound, a vibrant tapestry of Nigerian life. Ngozi navigated through the throngs of people, her eyes searching for someone who might fill the description of an elder. Finally, she spotted him, an old man with wise eyes, sitting quietly at the edge of the chaos. Approaching him, Ngozi felt a strange sense of familiarity. "I was told you have a key to my past," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The elder looked up, his gaze piercing. "Ah, Ngozi, I have been waiting for you. It is time to know the truth." The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silver glow over the mansion's gardens. Hidden by the shadows, Ngozi met with the other servants, their faces etched with worry and determination. "We can't let her continue this way," whispered Uche, the gardener, his hands clenched. "Adaeze must be stopped." "But how?" asked Choma, her voice trembling. "She has all the power." Ngozi stepped forward, a letter from the mysterious elder clutched in her hand. "There is a way," she said, her voice steady. "We must expose her, show the world her true nature." The servants exchanged glances, the weight of the decision heavy upon them. It was a dangerous path, but the fire of justice burned bright in their hearts. "All right, Ngozi," Uche nodded. "We stand with you. What's the plan?" Ngozi unfolded the letter, revealing its contents to the group. "We gather evidence, documents, everything, and when the time is right, we strike." The meeting ended with a silent pack, each servant slipping back into the night, their resolve as firm as the ground beneath their feet. The mansion was silent, save for the ticking of the grand hallway clock. Ngozi, her eyes heavy with exhaustion, through her evening chores. The air was tense, as if the house itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, a sharp cry pierced through the silence. "Ngozi!" Adaeze's voice thundered from the top of the staircase. "Where is my evening tea? Do you wish to sleep outside tonight?" Ngozi hurried to the kitchen, her hands trembling as she prepared the tea. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The tray slipped from her grasp, shattering on the floor, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Adaeze descended upon her like a storm. "Clumsy girl, you pay for this," she spat, her hands raised in a threat. But before the blow could land, a firm hand caught Adaeze's wrist. It was the mysterious guest from the ball, his eyes now unmasked and filled with a quiet fury. "Enough, Adaeze," he said, his voice calm but commanding. "This ends now." The marketplace was abuzz with the morning's activities, but Ngozi's mind was elsewhere. She sat across from the elder, his face a map of stories untold. "You are more than you know, Ngozi," the elder began, his voice a gentle rumble. "Your lineage is one of power and influence. You are the daughter of a chief, a leader of our people." Ngozi's eyes widened. "But how? Why am I here then?" she asked, her voice a mix of confusion and awe. "The answers you seek are not simple, child. But notice, your place is not among the shadows," the elder replied, his gaze unwavering. As they spoke, a figure watched from a distance. It was the same man who had intervened with Adaeze, his interest in Ngozi now clear. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city. Ngozi sat in a modest room, the elder's words echoing in her mind. She was a chief's daughter, a truth that felt both foreign and unfamiliar. A soft knock at the door startled her. "Ngozi, are you there?" It was Chidi, the cook, his voice laced with urgency. "Yes, come in," Ngozi replied, tucking the elder's letter away. Chidi entered, his eyes wide with fear. "Adaeze is asking for you. She heard rumors, whispers about your meetings." Ngozi's heart raced. "Thank you, Chidi. I will handle it," she said, her resolve hardening. She found Adaeze in the study, surrounded by her wealth, yet looking more vulnerable than ever. "Is it true, Ngozi? Are you plotting against me?" Adaeze asked, her usual confidence shaken. Ngozi met her gaze, unflinching. "I seek only the truth, madam, and I will find it with or without your blessing." The air was charged with tension as Ngozi confronted Adaeze in the grand living room. The other servants gathered behind her. "You cannot continue to treat people as less than human," Ngozi declared, her voice steady. Adaeze laughed, a hollow sound. "And who will stop me? You? A mere maid?" "I am not just a maid," Ngozi said, stepping forward. "I am Ngozi, daughter of Chief Obinna, and I will no longer stand for your cruelty." The room fell silent, the revelation hanging heavy in the air. Adaeze's face crumbled, her eyes betraying a flicker of fear. The morning sun stripped through the curtains of the mansion, casting a new light on the household. Ngozi, now recognized as the daughter of Chief Obinna, moved with a newfound grace, her head held high. Adaeze watched from her balcony, her thoughts a tangled web. The revelation of Ngozi's heritage had shaken the very foundation of her world. She summoned Ngozi to her private chambers, a room few had ever entered. "Ngozi, I did not know," Adaeze stammered, the words foreign on her tongue. Ngozi stood before her, not as a maid, but as an equal. "Many things have been hidden, madam. It is time for change." Adaeze nodded, a silent agreement passing between them. The estate buzzed with rumors and whispers, but within the walls of the mansion, a quiet understanding was forming. Adaeze found herself observing Ngozi, seeing her not as a servant, but as the strong, dignified woman she was. One evening, as the storm gathered outside, Adaeze approached Ngozi in the library. "I have been thinking," she began, her voice softer than before, "about all what has happened." Ngozi put down the book she was reading. "And what have you concluded, madam?" "That perhaps I have been wrong," Adaeze admitted, looking out at the rain. "Wrong about many things." Ngozi joined her at the window, watching the rain wash over the wall. "It is never too late to right a wrong, madam." The once imposing figure of Adaeze now walked the halls of her mansion with a contemplative air. The revelation of Ngozi's true identity had humbled her, and she found herself seeking redemption for her past misdeeds. "Madam, the staff, they speak highly of your change of heart," said Emeka, the butler, as he met her in the hallway. Adaeze paused, looking at the man who had served her faithfully for years. "Emeka, I have been blind to the suffering I've caused. It's time I make amends." In the days that followed, Adaeze took to the streets, visiting the homes of those she had wronged, offering apologies and support. The community watched in awe as the once cold-hearted businesswoman extended a helping hand to those in need. Ngozi stood before the community, her voice ringing clear as she addressed the crowd that had gathered. "My father, Chief Obinna, taught me the value of our people, the strength of our spirit," she proclaimed. The people listened, captivated by her presence, her words a balm to the wounds of the past. "Together we can build a future where no one suffers in silence, where every voice is heard," Ngozi continued, her eyes alight with passion. As she spoke, Adaeze watched from the sidelines, a sense of pride swelling within her. She had once sought to break Ngozi's spirit, but now she stood witness to its unyielding power. The mansion was quiet, a stark contrast to the flurry of change that had swept through its halls. In the garden, Ngozi and Adaeze sat on a stone bench, a rare moment of tranquility surrounding them. "Adaeze, I have been thinking," Ngozi began, her voice soft but firm, "about all that has happened, about forgiveness." Adaeze turned to her, the lines of worry softening around her eyes. "Forgiveness is not easily given, especially when one has caused so much pain. But it is necessary," Ngozi insisted, "for both the one who forgives and the one who is forgiven." Adaeze nodded, a single tear escaping down her cheek. "Then, Ngozi, can you forgive me?" Ngozi reached out her hand, covering Adaeze's. "I can, and I can do it. It is the only way we can move forward." The community gathered in the town hall, a buzz of excitement in the air. Ngozi stood at the podium, Adaeze by her side, a show of solidarity that few would have imagined possible. "Today we stand together to reveal the truth that has long been hidden," Ngozi announced, her voice echoing in the hall. Adaeze stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. "I have wronged many, and for that I am deeply sorry. But with Ngozi's guidance, I hope to right those wrongs." The crowd murmured, the impact of her words settling in. Ngozi smiled, her heart full, and together we will build a future where truth and kindness leads the way. Ngozi and Adaeze together walked through the newly established community center that was once a barren place of the estate. "Look at them," Ngozi, Adaeze said, gesturing towards the children laughing in the courtyard. "They are the future, and because of you their future is brighter." Ngozi smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "It's because of us, Adaeze. You've changed as well." Months had passed and the changes within the mansion and community were profound. Ngozi, now a respected leader, continued to advocate for the right and well-being of her people. Adaeze, no longer the cold-hearted employer, walked alongside her, their efforts intertwined. As they stood together at the annual festival, Ngozi addressed the crowd. "We have learned that change is possible, that when we unite for the good of all, incredible things can happen." Adaeze joined in. "And let us not forget the power of forgiveness, for it frees not only the one who is forgiven, but also the one who forgives." The moral of the story resonates through the crowd. No matter how deep the root of injustice may grow, the seed of change can still flourish, nurtured by compassion and the courage to make amends. And so the story of Ngozi and Adaeze comes to an end, not with a final goodbye, but with the ongoing echo of their legacy, a reminder that every end is just another beginning. That was what we had for you for today. If you enjoyed the story, make sure